Hey everyone,
Hi
how are we doing?
everybody.
Oh, there's lots of people here already, which is lovely.
Yeah, it's nice to see everyone, isn't it?
Shall we see who we've got? So we've got Red Wing was first one in for me. Moon Scarab, our friend Ramon. We've got Sandra. Hi Sandra. Scott's here. Hi Scott.
Hey Scott.
Sarah, Marita. We've got Karina and Naomi. Hello Naomi. How are you doing?
Hey Naomi.
And we have Sorsha, got the lovely Deanne here as well. Hi, Deanne.
Oh, hey
And
Sorsha, I've not seen you in ages.
yeah, I was just thinking that when I said the name. Yeah. Patsy, hi Patsy. And Jax from Tarot Tales. I've not seen Jax for a long time. How are
Hi
you
Jack.
doing? We have Kathy. Hi, Kathy. And Trisha. We also have Laura. Golden 1789, Layla, and Ailsa. I think that's how you say your name. We've got Donna and Renata, and I think and Bella. Bella's just come in. Remember I mentioned the decoupage tarot shoes? I finally posted the video. The shoes come out pretty good, so I'll have to check that out. I saw that decoupage tarot shoes, and I was like, "Wow, that's they're going to be a fashion statement, aren't they?" I wanted to see them. So
When are
anyway,
you
how
getting
you? It's what? Sorry.
When are you getting your pair?
I knew a joke then, but now I've said it's a joke. It's not going to work, so I won't go there. But it was about dating somebody who used to make footwear out of balloons, and then they say, "Oh, how did that go?" And they say, "Well, it was going all right until they popped the clogs." That's proper dad joke, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know why that made me think of that either. But how you doing anyway? Last week you had to cancel. I meant to ask you. You had to cancel because you're back. How is it?
Dad, I'm getting a proper oldie now, so well, yeah, it's actually okay, to be honest with you. It's kind of not as bad. Like through the week, I've had wee twinges here and there. This morning it wasn't too great, but it's feeling okay now. So it is. So hopefully we're getting better. I might need to either get a new chair or maybe get like a lumbar cushion for my chair. Because I think it's sitting in this chair like for 10 hours every day.
Yeah,
That's causing it.
yeah. It's really important to get up and keep walking around. I've got C7 vertebrae damage in my spine,
Oh,
and I've had seating assessments and everything, but I know because this arm starts to go numb and the lower part of my back. So I just have to get up at least once an hour. But you know, when you're really engrossed in work, and that doesn't always happen, does it? Because you don't look at the clock and sometimes, but it's important to do it and keep moving around. 10 hours sitting in a chair is a long time.
yeah. Sorry, Simon, I'm
You all
being
right?
distracted because one of my dogs is up to something. I'm not sure what it is. I'm hoping that my husband will hear it as well and he'll come looking.
Just one of the dogs.
Well, I'm assuming so. It sounds like one of them's like trying to scratch it or something. If it
The
carries
lovely
on, I'll go and see what they're up to.
the lovely Cheyenne is here as well. Hi, gorgeous souls on the screen and in the chat. So lovely.
Hi,
Hello,
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. Nice to see you. And anybody else that's come in that we've missed. So I'm glad you're doing better and you're coping all right with the heat.
Oh, just about. Today nearly finished me off, let me tell you. Like I almost didn't survive today, but we got there. The fan is blowing right now, so I don't. Hopefully, the mic isn't picking it up because it is blowing right in this direction.
I've got mine on for what good it's doing because it is quite a way away, but it's nice when I've been sat in front of it. But do you know, I've been drinking cold drinks, sugar-free Ribena since I got home. And then, of course, going live, I just automatically make a a coffee. It's like, why have I done that? You know. But they do say it calms you down as well. Not calms you down, cools you down.
Yeah. Well, they say that, but I don't think. I think it's an. It doesn't cool me down. Let me tell you. Guaranteed, if I have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, my temperature will go up. But I can't not because I need caffeine. Like I can't. If I don't have caffeine at various points through the day, I'll start to get sleepy, which I know isn't the best. But so I need to drink tea and coffee. So I do. When I'm
I'm the
working.
same. I have to have a coffee in the morning. I sometimes go into tea in the evening, but when I do cup, I like to have coffee. But I'd got some milk, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to make a milky, a latte coffee. But are you sending a message to Sandy to say get up here and sort the dogs out?
Yep. I'm literally just messaging them saying one of them's doing big diggies because that's what they're doing. It's like they're digging or scratching at something. So hopefully he'll appear soon and sort them out.
Sort them out. Yeah. Someone's put dog dad alert.
Yeah.
And people are saying they can't hear the fans, so that's good. So, Throwback Thursday comes around quick, doesn't it?
I know, that's true. That's true. How has the last month been? That's just a month since we've done this. Anything interesting been happening?
I think the last time we went live when I was just starting to feel poorly, wasn't it? Because I was like, you was like, get yourself off to bed. I can see that you're flagging, and that started like a week long being ill. Yeah, so that I took ill on the 11th, and that lasted for about a week. So that kind of ruled me out for a bit. Then I went back to work. We've had training and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, it's been all right. Other than that, it's been okay. What about yours?
You're all better now. All better now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
good stuff. Yeah, mate, I've been okay. I'm trying to think what we've been doing. I don't know all that much. I had a conference and work that week there, so we were in town for that. That was really good. That was a good weekday.
So when you say in town, that's Glasgow, yeah?
Yeah, Glasgow City Centre. We call it town. Going into town. So yeah, it was actually in Cineworld, which we've got the biggest cinema in Europe or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like tall. It's like 6 stories high. Our Cineworld. So yeah, they held the conference in there. So they did. We basically had the top 2 floors.
Oh wow!
So it was a really good day. So it was, and there was a free bar after it. They took us out and we could just drink. But it was on a Tuesday, so like most of us were working the next day. So they were clever about it. Next year, I was saying they should do it on a Friday.
It just shows how they're diversifying their business now, don't they? Because Cineworld was on the brink of collapse like this time last year. And then there was hoping that the James Bond film that came out was going to save them. And then now this Barbie thing. But if they're doing conferences and stuff, then that must be just to try and keep afloat. Because, yeah, Tuesdays aren't really going to be a mad rush for the cinema, are they?
Yeah, exactly. And even if they are, like, they've still got 4 other floors. There's something like 15 screens in this one. So, like, they could still use it as a cinema. Like, we weren't even in position on them, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So, it was good.
15 screens, that's good. And Cheryl's here from Oneness Emporium. Nice to see you.
Hi, Cheryl. How are you doing?
Oh, okay. So, what deck are we looking at then this month?
We are looking at the Witch's Wisdom.
Woohoo!
By Phyllis Curott and Daniel Barlow,
who I love. I think I was saying to you before, I had the Wheel of the Year Oracle for probably a year or two before this deck come out, and I really love that deck. It was one of my favourites. Well, still is one of my favourites, really. I'd never part with it. But so when I heard that Danielle Barlow was going to be the illustrator for this deck, I just had to get it.
Yeah, that's good.
Who's in the north? But you're in the north.
Where's that?
The source just put who's in the north, northeast coast.
Oh.
I want to get to Scotland before too long.
Oh, right, okay.
And Naomi doesn't have this deck, but she does have the Wheel of the Year. Well, I wonder if we'll be able to change your mind then, Naomi, because it's a mass market deck, and last time I checked, it wasn't that expensive really. It's Hay House, isn't it?
Yeah, Hay House, and you can get it on, all the usual places, to be honest. And not to spoiler alert, but like it's such a well kind of a made product. Like it almost feels like an indie product that you're getting. And it is just Hay House mass market. So yeah, it's definitely a good reinvestment, I think.
I had no idea about this. The smaller version comes out soon, and they'll stop selling this version.
Oh, there you go.
So when we say smaller version, Cheryl, is that like in a tin that Hay House have been doing, or is it just like a smaller version? Because I mean, this is a chunky deck, isn't it?
It's quite
like
big,
an oracle size. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was doing my notes, it puts me in mind of like the Silla's deck, the Shimmering Veil for like size wise. That's what it kind of makes me think of.
Yeah, I think as well. Is it the? This might be a bit smaller. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller. I was going to say the Guy in Tarot, but Guy in Tarot is a little bit smaller. But yeah, Shimmer and Veil size.
Yeah. So should I go through the
production?
The particulars then. So this was released in 2020, which I didn't realize it was that far back. I was a whole year ahead for it, and just in my head, but no, that does make sense. I got it just like January 2021, I think. So released in 2020, as I say, it's created by Phyllis Curot and Danielle Barlow as the artist. Phyllis wrote the book and worked closely with Danielle in the creation of the images, as I understand it. We've said that the publisher's Hay House. So the quality of production, your box, I've showed it, but it's like a sturdy magnetic box, one of these numbers. You are do you have your cloth bag there, by the way, that comes with this? Because I've got it somewhere else. I'm using it for another deck.
I've probably got it in a drawer with all my cloth bags. I've got a ton of cloth bags. It will be somewhere in here, but it was like a Hessian type cloth, wasn't it?
Yeah, linen type. I'll be able to find it quickly. But so the deck comes in a cloth bag, which is really nice. The book is, I don't know how to describe this. It's almost like a kind of a linen material finish that the cover has.
Like porcelain, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not exactly hardback, but it's it's not paperback either. And in terms of the quality of the book, you're getting lots and lots of information in it. If you're the kind of person that likes, like color images of the cards in your book, then you don't get that in this. Personally, it doesn't bother me that much, but if that is something that you like in a book, then that might be something to know about it. And the cards are, I've compared the size to the Shimmering Veil, but I suppose comparing it to your standard, kind of quite a bit broader and a wee bit longer than your standard tarot size as well. And these are like, what would you say these are? Like just kind of a matte art card.
I mean, when I first saw them, I thought, they're a little bit cardboardy, but for they're not a cardboard like a cereal packet cardboard.
Mm.
They've got like a sheen to them, haven't they? They are matte.
Yeah.
They're not. They haven't got any gloss or lamination, but it's actually quite nice.
Yeah.
I think the cardstock,
Yeah, definitely.
but quite thick. It's quite a thick deck.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. It's a like Simon says, it's a chunky deck. And have you edged yours?
Yeah. So because these are the colours of the backs, this nice blue. I edged them in blue too. So it's
That's
yeah,
nice.
it is. I can't remember. I think it was a Winsor Newton Pro marker
Right.
in like the navy
Right.
blue or royal blue, one of the two. I think it looks lighter on camera there. That looks like a neon blue, doesn't it, on the screen? But in real life, as I'm looking at it, it's quite a dark
Right.
blue.
It
So,
looks like it kind of matches nicely with the backs.
yeah, it does.
Jamie Kelly did hers partly in that colour of blue, but partly in that kind of a goldish yellowish colour, and it's
Yes.
beautiful. So it is like having the two different colours of edges, when they're all shuffled up. Really, really nice.
And Sandra edged hers in yellow, so hers is yellow to match
Nice.
the star. And I think
Nice.
I remember seeing that and thinking, "Oh, I really like that. That's come out." But if there is a standard version, so Cheryl replied saying, "No, it's not in a tin. They're calling it the standard version, and this one sounds like it's been rebranded as the deluxe version." And she said the deluxe version is now out of stock. So a standard. So I wonder if they're going to be tarot sized. Which is interesting, isn't it? Because, yeah, I don't know. I love this so much. I mean, I'll get it probably because I'm me. But just you making me laugh there made me realise just how sad I sounded there.
No, you don't at all. I think there's probably most of us are probably the same. But it's like when you find something you like, you do kind of want to support the creator, and you want to have one of each kind as well.
Exactly. It's like Lights is, isn't it? You know, we both got the indie, we both bought the mass, and then they bring out a tin version, and we're like, "Oh yes, please!" It's like,
Yeah.
isn't two enough?
I know exactly.
And
Yeah.
so Marielle, you know, I've got 4 different versions of Marielle, and it's like I only ever reached for the one, but I put this up because this is a fair point. So Patsy says, I like the deck, but it confuses me how the system is. So really use it. I think Chris and I spoke earlier this evening because we have a format of how we do Throwback Thursday, which is, you know, we have like an agreed template that we put together way back when we started it a few months ago. But tonight's going to be a little bit different just because it's a little bit different in its kind of, I mean, we use the word system. I mean, it's a tarot system, but it's the ordering, and there's a lot of changes to the titles, the courts, and the suits. Although the suits, I never mind if they're called something like air instead of swords, or water instead of cups, because it's a witch's wisdom deck. It's a very pagan deck, so of course we're going to be talking about the elements, and they've removed a lot of the kind of religious in terms of Abrahamic religions from it. So there isn't a devil, for example, because the devil doesn't exist in this world. And that's more of an Abraham. I can never say it. An Abrahamic. Let's say it that way. An Abrahamic religion. So it can be confusing, and lots of people, like Patsy said there, find it quite a challenging deck. And I found it challenging in terms of when I would shuffle the deck and pull a card, and I see card 15 as the journey, and I'm thinking, okay, card 15, and then you're trying to work everything back, and it's not that easy, really, to be able to do that. But of course, because it's going backwards, it comes after the Lovers card, so it's the Chariot, the journey.
Yeah.
But it does take a while to get your head around that. However, that's where the book is really, really useful, because what the book does when you get to the majors is it gives you the title, but it also puts in little Roman numerals what the original major arcana within the RWS tradition would be. So it's helpful for that. But it's also really helpful that we get this guide. Now, this can be confusing when you first look at it as well, because it has 3 columns. So it will tell you the Rider Waite, then it will tell you the Rider Tarot reversed, and then the Witcher's Wisdom Tarot. So what I tend to do is I just look at the first and the last column. So if I've got love, then because it's card 16, I look at the where that would be, and it's the Lover's card. So that's quite a handy quick reference guide, and I have it tabbed as well.
Yeah.
And then I was just going to explain their reasoning for why they reversed the major arcana. And it's only a very short paragraph, but it says, when the Pilgrim, so the Pilgrim is card 0, which we would know as the Fool. The Pilgrim, it is the Pilgrim's journey, and all of the major arcana are the Pilgrim, and they're identifiable because there's a pendant that the Pilgrim wears around the neck, and that appears on the archetypes throughout the major arcana. But it says, when the Pilgrim was ready, we moved onto the luminaries. The Sun, which would have been 19, now 3. The Moon, 18, now 4. The Star, 17, now 5. And down the rest of the path. As far as we know, it's the first reversal of major arcana in the course of the history of tarot, and it made perfect sense for the Witcher's Tarot. We were on the ancestral path of initiation, a universal shamanic process. Its direction is down into oneself, into the womb of Mother Earth, not upward into Father's heaven. Then transformed, enlightened, and embodying the divine, we return to the world we now recognize is also divine. So, and when I read that, I thought, well, yeah, it does make sense if we're talking of having a tarot that's truly has a pagan outlook, where we're not aspiring to go to a heaven where God resides, facing that judgment and everything else. So it does take away that sort of Abrahamic structure. And instead, it's about the journey down and inwards, rather than outwards. What's your thoughts, Chris, on the reordering, and have you managed to get your head around it, etc.?
It makes sense when you understand why they've done it. I like it from an artistic point of view, from a poetic point of view. Like, I like what she's done and the reasoning that she's given for doing it. I think that it's really good. From a reading point of view, though, you know what I'm like. I like to be able to read with my decks. From a reader's point of view, I do find it a bit tougher. And it's obviously there's the reversal of the majors, but the minors I feel are also quite different. For I guess reasons we can get into, but it's just the whole deck feels like it's gone off in a whole tangent of its own. And like I say, it's a beautiful deck, but just from a reading with it point of view, I find it quite difficult. And what I can't remember who said it earlier on, but they resonated with me. It stops me from picking it up and using it, just because I know that I'm going to have to like work my my two brain cells are going to have to work extra hard in order to understand what it is that I'm seeing and what I'm doing, you know. So I suppose that's my diplomatic answer. I like it, but I think it makes it difficult as a reader.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I tend to use it for card pulls more than, you know, like big spreads or anything. And I don't tend to do spreads from books or anything like that. I have my tried and tested ones that I do all the time, which is usually 9 cards. But for this one, I do find that particularly in the early days of working with it, I would pull a card and then I would go to the book, because the book is written beautifully, actually. When you go to, there's more in the major arcana, but you get a story, don't you? So it will describe the scene that you're seeing in the card, and then it gives you the essence, then it gives you a counsel, and it tells you about the magic of the card. But I've just opened it on balance, which is the card that is the same because it's the central middle card. So it's card 11 in both versions. So that's the justice card. So it's about the balance. But just the way, I'll just read the first sentence. It's beautiful. Within the magic woods, time shifts and the pilgrim returns to her childhood. She enters the realms of spirit and sees the world as it's meant to be. And when we come onto the world card, there's a fantastic image there, the old world burning away, and she's walking out into nature to the world as it should be, you know, because this world is on fire, you know, it is polluted and things are going haywire. And when you think that this deck was released in the pandemic year, you know, there was a lot happening in the world as it is at the moment. So the book is beautiful, and I did find that I was pulling cards and then reading the story. And I think this and perhaps Japaridze, or maybe one or two others, is a book as well where I've sat and read it like a storybook, only for the majors, because it is that pilgrim's journey, and there is a story, there's a narrative that runs all the way through it, and it's just lovely for that. And then, of course, on top of that, you've got the gorgeous artwork of Danielle Barlow, which, you know, I want to see more from her.
Yeah, there are some really beautiful cards. Some of the cards that I've picked out as favourites, it's purely because I really appreciate it, like the art, and like I'd love to like paint it. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to do it myself, to copy it. But yeah, she's very talented.
Yeah,
remembered I was supposed to be flipping through these ones, wasn't I? And I've just been skiving.
That's okay. No, because what we'd do, and yes, I take Marita's part as well. You know, any deck can be read intuitively, absolutely. And I'm not saying that that's not what you can do with this. Of course you can. You know, you don't have to think, oh, you know, card 15, what is that? You know, what would that have been? Because that's not what this deck is for. It's giving you that to help you, but it wants you to work with it as the system that it is, not then just convert it back to RWS, or they may as well have just kept it as that tarot structure. Hello, Lynn. Hello, boys. So it's a long time since I've been called a boy.
Hi, Lynn. I'm sorry to hear about your allergies.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going around at the minute though, because of the climate. 1 minute we're cold, the next minute we're boiling hot. Yeah. So what we thought we would do, because when we get to this point in the throwback Thursday that we do, we talk about our favorite cards and why they're our favorite cards. And again, we was talking earlier, because I feel quite conflicted, because I'm going to say now, I don't have any cards in this deck I don't like, which is quite rare. And I love her art so much. I would have just been saying, yeah, this card, and we would have been here forever. But because of the confusion that has been talked about with the reordering, Chris said, well, why don't I show each of the major arcana, and then I would, from the book, explain, what card that is and our thoughts on it. And then for the minors, we'd just say which of the minors we like. So shall I put you on full screen so that we can really get to see the image? Because you'll still hear me anyway, won't you?
Yeah, or you can, on thingy, there's an option to have like my screen bigger and your screen small on the side, but obviously I'm going to do this, so we'll both.
Wrong one.
So if you move them, like just grab my screen and hover it over to your screen. That's your
you taught me something. That's
you're learning. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Right, let me see. Is it better or worse when I put the light on? That's a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah, and interestingly, the Pilgrim card, which is card 0, in the book is at the end. But it's card 0. It can be anywhere, can't it? But I suppose if they're reversed in the deck. But yeah.
Cool.
So this is about the Pilgrim, obviously setting forth on the journey, and it's a journey of self-discovery with an open path in front of her. I love the little fox that's traveling with her.
There's quite a lot of foxes in this deck, isn't there?
Yeah, and it says here that the fox has keen senses and keen instincts, which makes for a good companion for the Pilgrim. So, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Move on.
So, yeah. So now we're going to the world. So the world would be, at the end, but of course it's reversed. So it's at the beginning. So it's card 1 instead of card 21. And this is what I was talking about earlier. The world is on fire. The time of ancestral prophecy, of dismemberment. What is wrong with me? Dismemberment, of unmasking. So civilizations and their illusions of separation and control are coming to an end. Mother Earth cannot be dominated. The goddess is rising to protect her endangered children. So we see here the Pilgrim now has her gaze fixed on the ground before her, and she's put on a backpack. Now, what's interesting here to note is the size of the backpack, because it becomes smaller as she goes on her journey. It becomes lighter. So she's heavy at the moment because of the weight of the world that's ablaze around her. And she's heading off to the world as it should be. Oh, have we got a...
I think Sandra's taking care of it.
All right.
Someone try to save his guys.
Yeah. It ain't going to work here.
Not today, Satan.
Not going to work. Yeah, and then we've got initiation, which would be card 20, which would be the judgment card. This is testing my card numbers now. But I love that initiation, and it says the path leads down deep beneath the surface and inward to the very center of her soul. So it's about that connection going inwards. And who is our judge? It's ourselves, isn't it? Those who are becoming wise willingly descend, ready to be unmade in order to be made again. A time for unburdening, for cleansing the unreal and the unwanted, for shedding all that separates you from the sacred self, from the sacred that surrounds, sustains, and summons you. It's time to die to be reborn. So then we have our sun card, which would have been card 19. So the luminaries, as it's referred to here, that's they're still there, but obviously in reverse order. Life is beginning again, and it's sustained by the sun. The Pilgrim's heart beats again. So notice the pendant. So it doesn't matter what the gender expression is. The Pilgrim is the essence, the soul, the searching, that we are the pilgrim. And it says the pilgrim heart beats again with joy as he awakens within. He finds the courage to hold his heart and his shame, his brokenness and his beauty for all the world to see. Serene and radiant. You just post something in Simon's chat too. Oh, right.
Yeah, so in my chat, they can't see what's going on in yours, like the people that are in my chat, and vice versa. So I'm talking about how someone's come to save us, and Tony's like, what? What are you talking about? So I'm just explaining.
What? Oh, so Tarot Destroyers in yours?
No, they were in yours, and
Yeah,
Tony's in mine. So Tony hasn't seen that. So when I'm saying, "Oh, we'll get someone try to be our savior," Sandra's on it. Tony's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I don't know what 87 is. I mean, it was a great year. It was the year I left school and got a job. And
it's the year before I was born.
All right. And there you was earlier saying that it's old age with your back, and I'm thinking, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm an old bitch
now. Yeah, the moon's the moon. Wildness is the only path to the moon, and I love that. I mean, it's quite traditional in a way, if we're thinking of both systems really. But yeah, there is no need to dread the companions who will teach you how to shapeshift into hoof and horn, paw and claw, fur and feathers, fins and scales, bud and leaf and flower. Set your foot upon the silver path. Beautiful.
Yeah, I love how she's done the water, the reflection in the water.
Yeah.
And again here.
Yeah, so this is our star card. Now, the star card is gorgeous because without even looking it up, I just really loved it because it said that the pilgrim's path had come to an end and all that stretched out before her was the water. So she doesn't stop, she's got a journey to make. So she enters the water and embraces the natural world around her. Just because she can't see the path in front of her anymore doesn't mean that it's not there below the surface. So she carries on, eye single to the journey that she wants to take, the pilgrimage that she wants to make. That was the year I graduated.
Yeah. So I think Marita graduated the year I was born, and Donna seems to graduate the same year as you.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, the maze. So this would be the tower card, of course. You can see the lightning in the background and the dark. I was going to say the Rocky Horror words then, but no, I'm not going to do. That's not going to be something to do every time. It's not going to become a catchphrase. But yeah, gorgeous. It says in the middle of the maze is where the magic lies. But there's also that sense of foreboding because it's not going to be an easy path now to take. It's a maze, so there's going to be challenges. We know that there's a storm ahead, but actually what's really poignant here is when I mentioned that backpack, look how small the backpack is. Already on the pilgrim's journey, there's been so much happening that burden of setting out from that world that's ablaze, being able to connect with nature and follow that path has lessened that burden. So sometimes if we want that magic to find that's hidden, we do have to go through these kind of more perilous paths and ones that aren't easy to follow.
Yeah.
Card reminds me of the labyrinth. Yeah,
it's a nice card. When I had just gone through the whole deck to pick out favourites, this was one of them.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, because I started writing my favourites down, and there's maze. But then I thought, this is ridiculous. It's nearly every card. Yeah. So this is the replacement card for the devil because there isn't a devil here, and it's the ancestor cards. How many silver threads connect you to life? And And then it says, the pilgrim appears to Hecate, goddess and guide through the underworld. She offers prayers to the ancestors to guide her through the darkness and to the gold. An ancestor hears and responds, for she knows the magic and will joyfully share it. There's a blessing in the family curse. The burning torch is held aloft. The shining key to the ancient dungeon is inside the cell. The pilgrim lifts it from its place and honors her forebearers. They are the reason she is here. The door swings open, the path appears, and she emerges, bringing treasures into the world. So, again, it's just this beautiful, continuous story that's weaving its way through the deck.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about, like, swapping out the devil's fine, because obviously, like you say, they're getting rid of those religious references, but if you're going to swap it out, I feel as though you need to swap it out for something that still bears that kind of meaning, or that it still, you can still get that. Because if you take that out, you know, you're... Anyway, this isn't the time.
I guess it's just because in this journey of the pilgrim, where would the devil, or, I mean, she's talking about the underworld, she's talking about Hecate, but it's an ancestor that responds to the call, I suppose. But yeah, I guess it's where would it... I did mark it somewhere where she talked about the devil, but I bet I won't be able to find it now anyway. Oh, here it is. Another notable change is the banishing of the devil. He belongs exclusively to the Abrahamic faiths as their personification and projection of evil, and has no place in the world of witches. Instead, the ancestor, a revered figure in all indigenous cultures, teaches about family, continuity, and maturity. The angel of temperance is replaced by the plant people. Oh, that's going on to the next one now. Yeah, so that's her explanation. She's banished the devil.
Yeah, and Elsa's said outside of Christianity, the whole concept of the devil fails. No, I do understand that, and my personal view is that the devil was invented essentially to explain away the evils that people do. They're basically like taking evils that are inherent in us and that we do, that we've created in the world, and basically made this, you know, this straw man to blame it on. I get that. The point that I'm making is, for example, for me, the devil card, when that comes up in a reading, that's talking about desires. It's talking about, you know, all of the things that we go through for desires. You know what I mean? The good and the
Things
bad.
that enslave us.
Yeah, exactly. Like those chains. And the point that I'm making is, if you're going to take the devil card away, you still need to have that meaning woven into the deck somewhere. So that's all that I'm saying.
Yeah. So card 8, which would be card 14, is healing, which would have been the temperance card. Beautiful card. I mean, if we was doing the kind of least favorites, I might put it in there just because it just feels a little bit more abstract than perhaps some of the others. I do love the kind of certain spirits you see there. It almost reminds me of laying on the ground and looking up through some trees and things and seeing these spirits dancing in the sky. And it does talk about floating between the worlds. So when you think of the temperance as well, then I do get that. Rooted firmly in Mother Earth, the plant people know that we're deeply wounded, suffering from delusions and separation and superiority. We have so much to learn. And then it goes on to say, the pilgrim wakes and sits up. She is hungry, thirsty, and covered in pollen. So it's almost like a vision that the pilgrim is seeing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's, do you notice how that's the necklace? Because the necklace has the wee star on it.
I hadn't picked up on that. That's cool.
It's nice.
And then we have Rebirth, which is card 13, card 9, card 13, which is Death. And then, we don't really need to explain that. I mean, part of Death is about that transition, isn't it? From death to rebirth anyway. So that links. And that kind of makes me understand more about what you were saying about the Devil card. You can still kind of link without it being too far removed. So, but it says this is the turning point in every pilgrim's journey. The pilgrim is becoming a wiki, a wise one, seeing the sacred within and around her. She sees eternal spirit outside time and embodied spirit within time. She has reached the ending of non-being, unmaking, in turning into making. She is ready to create her life, her dreams, her purpose. It is a joyous card as well, isn't it?
Yeah, she looks very happy. There's a big bird on her head, though. I'm not sure I understand.
I think that's symbolic of perhaps the raven, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just scanning through here, see if it mentions the birds. It talks about. No, I can't see. I can't see any reference to it.
I suppose the raven has that links to kind of a death and rebirth and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, that would be my kind of assumption as to why it's there. But okay, the offering, which is card 12. Trust, says the fairy. Oh yeah, so I love this because it's about the if you can see in the card is nourishing and giving feed to this little sapling tree. And it mentioned here, a tall, slender fairy, a spirit of the land, takes the pilgrim by the hand and invites him to go along with her. Happy to do so, he realizes this fairy makes mending magic. So, that's... I just think it's a really beautiful one. That was one that's in my favourites as well. You've got the little creatures in the foreground as well watching on, but just that time to take care and to help nature, so that it's got this this start, this help.
Yeah, it's a nice card.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have these are both, as I said, this is the center point, the balance, which is beautiful. Such a beautiful. I love that bear. Receiving and replenishing, interchanging and exchanging with gratitude and generosity. Perfect balance is maintained, and lightness of being is attained. Joy is what it feels like. And then it says, Mother Earth is always teaching you what all her children know, the life-sustaining balance that all creation shows. Live lightly on the land, take no more than you need, and give back with gratitude for all that you've received. If nothing is wasted, there's enough for everybody. It's quite a powerful statement, really, isn't it? When we think about it, just take what you need and there'll be enough for everyone.
Yeah, if more people did that.
And this is the grandmother. Mother Earth teaches all who pay attention. Grandmother replies, remember the story I told you about the goddess Mart. She holds a single feather to weigh you against your heart. Lightness of being is the gift of balance. So that reference again to justice.
Yeah. This card is probably one of, if not my favourite in the deck.
I always used to think this would make a brilliant wall hanging.
Yeah.
Really stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why do you like it so much, Chris?
Something about it. I can't even explain. I think it's like a mixture of the spider's web at the center, the colors, the fact that it is the wheel of life, and it shows all those different phases. It's just really beautiful.
Yeah. So for this, as the pilgrim is learning about change, she sees life being born and growing, flourishing, aging, dying, resting, returning. And so she sees the mystery. The forms change, but the spirit of life is eternal. It's really gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little thing here. It's like a little poem bit. It says, the sun is in the seed is in the earth. The song that plays as the wheel spins round is the magic of rebirth. Love that.
Yeah.
One of my favourites. This would be the Hermit card, which is card 13 in this deck, but would be card 9. And it's the Shaman. And I just love it because he's beating his drum, but he's blindfolded. And that is because he's making that deep connection. I don't know if have you ever been in a drumming circle, Chris, or had any sort of drumming healing?
Nope.
I did it once, and it was one of the most powerful experiences I've ever had. I sat in a chair, and there was about 5 or 6 drummers, shamanic drummers, and they just walked around me, banging the drum to this particular rhythm. And the resonance just is inside you. Do you know what I mean? And it feels like, I don't know, you're receiving all this kind of energy. It was incredible. But they were really in the zone, you know, and I was sat there with my eyes closed, just feeling this incredible resonance from the drums. What I love about this is outdoors in nature is beating the drum to his own rhythm, is blindfolded, so he's really making that deep connection. And you know, there's something about, you know, don't dance to the beat of someone else's drum. But he's living to his beat, but is also really in tune, you know, with what's happening on the inside and that connection to Mother Earth as well. And I wrote down here, the blindfolded shaman puts his life in rhythm with Mother Earth.
Yeah. I like his tattoos.
What are they of? I can't remember.
There's one, it's a snake.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
I
not
see
sure.
why he's like that.
I'm not sure what that other one is.
I think it's a snake as well. I think they're both snakes.
Right, okay.
Yeah, the coiled. Yeah, they're both snakes.
Nice.
So, card 14 in this deck is Strength, which would have been card 8. I mean, Strength, what can we say? But look at that. Look at all of the animals that are congregated here.
Yeah.
It says a quiet, hidden wood mouse, a blue-winged butterfly, an owl, a cat curled in the sunlight, an oak tree in the garden, the heather on the hill, all guide the pilgrim now as she plunges into life. She becomes a salmon swimming strongly upstream, then scrambling to a wooded shore, becomes a bear, a wolf, a moose, a black crow flying through the air, fit, strong, and confident. So it talks about, you know, how life cycles as well, doesn't it? About becoming all part of nature.
Yeah.
We wield unwavering sovereignty when the earth and our bodies are inseparable.
Yeah. Really nice. I like all the animals.
So, Journey. I love this card. This is a beautiful image. In fact, let me, where are we in this? Better the way around. The journey of life is a pilgrimage. Some paths are well worn by the ancestors of all the peoples. Some are known only to those who travel between the worlds, and some become visible only when the light shifts and the way is revealed within. On this holy pilgrimage, each path is as unique as the one who walks it, but the landscape through which all travel, all the children of Mother Earth, is the same. It's sacred, and every path leads home. Beautiful. Every path leads home.
Yeah.
Every
it's
time I
nice.
get lost in the car, I always say, well, every road leads to Rome. I might change that now. Every path leads home. as I'm stuck on the M1.
Yeah, when I get lost in the car,
Cursing.
I tend to go into old panic stations, panic alarms mode.
It's funny, isn't it? We know we're going to get it eventually, but yeah.
This reminds me of my dogs, because they like
Is
to
it?
come up and like give you kisses and stuff, and like they look at me like that. This is a beautiful card, so it is.
It is gorgeous. And this, what a beautiful card for love.
Yeah.
You know, you'll know from being a dog owner that the love of an animal like a dog is unconditional, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's just and there's nothing nicer than being greeted by a dog that's pleased to see you. It's just it's a lovely feeling. So I really like that. And it just says here, safe now, the pilgrim lets go of her fear of human frailties and infractions of wounding, abandonment, and betrayal. Fox leans his head in against her chest, and the blessing flies. And the blessing flies through her, like the love spell that it is. Without dread or inhibition, she lets her heart open and expand. She has found the missing half she has been yearning for. She has found herself. She has learned the lesson of love. Look within, for when you find love there, you will find it everywhere. Fox curls up to sleep, safe in the pilgrim's lap. And it's true, isn't it? If we can love ourselves and find love there, then we'll find it in other places.
Yeah. Say it, RuPaul. RuPaul, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here?
That's kind of lost on me. I don't.
You're not a Drag Race fan?
I've never seen one.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. I kind of, even though I'm really looking forward to Big Brother, which is strange, I kind of really recoil against reality TV.
Right.
It had its day, but all this Love Island and all that kind of stuff, I just can't. I can't.
Yeah, I suppose I'm kind of the same, to be honest. I can't talk, but I have seen quite a bit of Drag Race, and I don't know. I think it's just kind of iconic.
Yeah. Oh, so she says, "Oh my goodness, I recently adopted a dog. I'd forgotten how bonded we get, how it works both ways." Absolutely. Yeah. So Wisdom Keeper 17 would be the Hierophant, card 5.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, what would we say? What a perfect Hierophant, a Wisdom Keeper. Look at that dog and all. Just really content laying out. And we've got the fires, and yeah, it's the Wisdom Keeper. Perfect for the Hierophant card. I don't really need to read anything from the book on that one, I don't think.
Yeah. And the Guardian. Naked man.
Yeah. Is he? Is he completely naked?
Oh, you can't see it because it's leaves all over the place, but yeah, I think he is.
So he would be the Emperor, card 4, the Guardian, but very pagan with his antlers and yeah. Again, there's lots of animals. There's a boar, a rabbit, a fox, a badger, a cow. Is it a cow? Is that meant to be a cow? That white.
Well, it's a very skinny cow, isn't
it? Skinny cow. It's like those ice creams you can get. It doesn't. I don't think it says what animals are here. No. It just says the pilgrim stands before the guardian and feels the strength and gentleness that radiates from him in equal measure. A modest portion falls upon him like an honor to be carried. To till the fields and tend the animals, stand guard and step forward. The pilgrim is ready to be mentored and empowered by responsibility.
People are saying it's a doe. It's a white doe.
Doe as in a deer, female deer.
Yeah.
Doe, a deer, a female
Yep,
deer.
that's
Is
the
it?
one. Yeah.
Okay. Why are you laughing?
Just because we're going to break out in a song again.
Okay, so then we have the Great Mother. No guesses who that would be in the RWS. Well, in the other tarot system. Again, naked like the Emperor. It's our Empress. Those cards go really well together. Actually, when you kind of put them side by side, you can. They're lovely. The Mother and the Guardian together. Beautiful. The pilgrim has taken her own path deep within and back again, and it has led her home. All about her, the dance of life proceeds as everything grows 1,000-fold from a single seed. She closes her eyes and inhales deeply. Divinity has always been just a breath away. As her eyes fly open, the mother is seated before her, surrounded by her creation. Nurtured, loved, provided for. Gorgeous.
Naomi saying the mountains at the back, reminder of birth. I suppose that's the view, isn't it?
Like legs in a stirrup, legs in stirrups kind of thing.
Well, yeah, to me, this is the view that a mother giving birth might have, because then you've got the pregnant belly and your knees.
Yeah. I've never thought of that before, but now you've said it.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It mentions that in the book. I'll have to have a look, but yeah, the priestess is card 20 in this deck, but would be card 2. Yeah, so ready now, the pilgrim takes hold of her magic. It's time to make the world anew.
Beautiful colours in this card.
Yeah, that red dress is.
The red dress with the red flowers is just really nice.
But look at the little toad.
Yeah.
There's so much little details in this.
And finally,
card 21, which would be card 1, which would be the Magician. But for this one, it's the Council of All Beings. And again, it's a really, really beautiful image. The Council of All Beings gather, speaking softly to one another, laughing together, grateful for one another. The pilgrim is welcomed into their company, into the community of life. She is in the presence of kindness that flows to and from her open heart. She is in the presence of spirit embodied by creation. The pilgrim has arrived home. It is time to make her life the prayer. And that's the major arcana.
Yeah. Such a pretty deck. One of the things I love about, see just the way that it's borderless, it really kind of frames the artwork well, I think. Yeah, I think they've done a great job.
I'm so intrigued now to see what this standard version is going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm just looking to see how many favourite binders I've got. I've got 10, so.
Okay. I can do 10. So it's interesting with the miners, they are devoid of humans. It's an animal and landscape, with the exception, of course, of the courts. And the courts have been renamed as messenger, witch, craftsman, and goddess. And of course, goddess is going to be the highest kind of honor.
Yeah. What do you think of the names of the courts?
You know me, it's one of my pet peeves when things get changed too much. Like I said, I don't mind the changes in the minors because they're just the elements anyway. I think I quite like that. I wouldn't mind if every deck just said fire, air, water, earth. But for the majors, I like the goddess element. It's like messenger. I like witch and craftsman, and then goddess. But I'm not sure how else they would have done it. I don't mind it.
Yeah,
What's your thought?
I don't mind when the courts are changed. Mainly, I generally don't mind. My thing with this is, to me, the witch and the craftsman. To me, they're in my head. They're the same. They're the practitioners. They're the ones getting their hands dirty, getting in and about the element. To me, that's both the witch and the practitioner, and they both fall into the role of like a knight, and just in my head. And that's why I struggle with this a wee bit. Messenger, I can totally link that up with the page, and goddess, I would probably more link that to the queen, but that's just because for me in my head of page, knight, queen, king, the queen for me is like is the most superior of all the courts, if you want to put it that way.
I think that's why the goddess is in like the supreme position here of it being a witch's deck. You know, we all come from the goddess. You know, the chant, and to her we shall return, etc. So
yeah.
Which suit are you going with first?
I'm easy either way. I've got fire sitting here first, but we can go with whatever you've got.
Yeah, we can go with fire. I've got mine all separately. Do you want to say your favourites? How many have you got that's a favourite from?
I've got 3 favourite fires. Do you want me just to do the 3 of them at once?
Yeah, and I bet ours are some of the same anyway.
Okay, let me just zoom out a smidge so that we can get them all on. So I've got the ace, I've got the 2, and I've got the witch.
Maybe not then.
The ace, just because I think this is a really cool image. I love the cauldron and all this fire. I think it's stunning. These 2 have both got snakes on them, so they're automatically going to be in the favourites pile. But I do love the kind of a caduceus effect of the 2. I think it's really cool. And yeah, I really just like the witch because she's cool and she's holding up her Hermes python. So yeah, they're my favourites from this one.
Cool. Mine's the 4. I think this is just a beautiful. I know the fox appears a lot in this deck, but this is my favourite. And that beautiful family unit. Really love the 8 of fire. I remember sharing this first time around when it was 8 of Wands week. But yeah, I love this. I love the perspective from it. And I just love the 10 of fire. These candles in this woodland kind of grove. It's just beautiful how it's illuminating the dark woods.
The box art comes from that card as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It do.
Cool. Is that all your fires?
Yeah, it's my fires.
Okay, so I've got air here next. And I've got 3 again.
Air, did you say?
Air, yep.
Yeah.
So I've got the ace. Funnily enough, no, it's not the exact same. I've got the ace and the 2 again, but I've got the craftsman rather than the witch this time. The ace, I just think this harp is really cool. It's a really cool idea, like just conceptually for the element of air, thinking of music. I love the 2 because these trees look like lungs. I think that's pretty again, conceptually, that's really cool. And the Craftsman I just really like, because to me, like the Craftsman, for me, I'm thinking Craftsman, I'm thinking knight, I'm thinking the court who's active in that particular suit. So I like to see that this person is like writing in a jotter, and they're, you know, writing out formulas and diagrams, and really like studying, or like, you know, researching, that kind of a thing. That is a really good demonstration of like active in the sort of air. And not very many decks do that, which I think is cool. So yeah, I really like it.
I've got one of the same, so I've got the two. Again, I love the kind of the pattern that the tree's making, and like the mirror image, almost like the lungs of life, the air breathing. I love the six. The six really, you know, that you've got this family here of swans, but the fox watching on. But they don't either, they're not aware or they don't feel threatened anyway by the fox. But it's just like this beautiful scene where nature is kind of coexisting. And then I love the goddess, grandmother spider. I just think this is a really cool card.
Yeah. I love in the six how the two parent swans are protecting their cygnets, or whatever baby swans are called. Like they're forming a barrier around them. I think that's really sweet.
Yeah.
I've got water next, and I've got two. I've got the 8, just because I think that's a stunning image just in and of itself. But I think it's as I understand it, this is I'm sure we've seen this on like Planet Earth with David Attenborough. This is after the turtles hatch. They hatch on the turtles lay their eggs in the beach, in the sand in the beach, and they hatch, and then it's this race, this journey to the water before any predators can catch them. And this is that you see them kind of running in the moonlight towards the water, and it's driven by pure instinct that's taking them to the water. So, yeah, I think that's stunning. And the 10 as well, I just love the image. I think it's a really beautiful image. Just this kind of a rain for it. It's one of these ones when I was saying like, oh, I would love to paint that. That's one that I would love to paint.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was going to look it up because I've forgotten now the poignancy behind the 5. You know, where you've got this family of polar bears, but then it's almost like a reflection, but you can only see one bear. I was going to look it up in the books. I've forgotten what the message of that was, but
I think he looks really malnourished, doesn't he? The one bear on his own.
And then there's like little bits of debris, which is kind of hinting about what we are doing to the planet and destroying it, where it's some wildlife's kind of natural habitat. I'd also got the 8, same reasons. I just think it is really beautiful, and I love the 2. When you think of the 2 of Cups, just that gentleness between the 2 of them, that sort of connection.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's really sweet.
And Earth.
Yeah, Earth. I think I've got 2 Earths as well. So I have got the 9 because I love the Aurora Borealis. Is that what it's called? And I've got the 10. Just again, I think this is a really stunning image. There's lots of beautiful images in this deck.
This is my favorite suit in this deck. There's, I've got like easily 6, maybe more that are favorites. I'll just talk about them quickly. Is it just those 2 for you?
Yep.
So I mean, how absolutely gorgeous is that image. I love the standing stone circle because I'm a huge fan of stone circles anyway. They just fascinate me. You know, the history of them, how they got there and everything else. But I love the beautiful nature scene around the standing circles as well. So whilst you've got something, these huge monoliths that have stood the test of time for thousands of years, you know, nature all around it is new and fresh all the while, you know. Love this one, which is the 5. You've got the hare, but you've also got the remains of a hare underground. So you've got overground and underground. Hares live above ground. So it's showing again the passage of time. I love the 8 with this circle of trees and casting shadows, sorry. The circle of trees with this pool in the middle, you know, a watering hole for wildlife. Love the 9. I think it's beautiful, like you just said. The whole image is just stunning. And it's that journey, you know, that against all of the elements and being exposed. And then my pagan heart just cries out for this goddess of earth. I think she's absolutely stunning, really, really beautiful. I love the kind of milk that's pouring from her as well into making a stream below. Just we've got a pyramid in the background and a mountain, you know, so you've got a desert on one side and luscious green land on the other. It's just stunning. And then the heavens opening up to the starry night sky behind. It's got everything in there.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. Different plant life and yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah. Definitely.
Wow.
So that's all our favourites then, eh? I suppose I can switch back to my base.
I've changed my mind. I need this deck now. Just Kathy. These minor cards are just a chef's kiss. Yeah, this book gives a magical practice for every card, which absolutely it does. So that's what I was saying. I don't know if we whether how much it was emphasized, but you get the wisdom. Now the wisdom part of the book is the main body, and it describes the scene. It tells you the story of the pilgrim. Then you get an essence, which is basically keywords, and then you get a counsel, so a counsel message, but then it has the magic. So this one has a love spell, and it's a really, really, really nice book. So well written, one of my favorites.
Yep.
So
definitely.
I wonder. I hope nothing's compromised with the book for the new edition that's coming out.
Yeah, I suppose we'll need to wait and see, won't we? Because that's the thing there.
Yeah, it's good having Cheryl from Oneness Emporium here as well, because she gets that information as being a stockist. Like Hay House, so she gets all this information well in advance. So that's cool. Any final thoughts?
Yeah. One thing that I've not mentioned, there's a spread in the book that I love. And it's it's called the Compass Rose Spread, I think, or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. The Compass Rose Reading and Spell. It's an elemental spread. I'll show you. So this is what it looks like. It's got like a cross in the middle, like it's starting off a Celtic cross, but then it's got like it goes around. There's 3, 4, 5, 6 for the 4 elements, and then it goes around again for the 4 elements again. And when I'm doing it, I normally kind of read that as like situation and advice or something like that, and then a final card 11 in the middle for like taking everything into account, you know, going forwards. What are we looking at? I used that spread when I was doing readings for my family, maybe not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. But yeah, it's one of my favourite spreads. In fact, I think I've done a video on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just a wee random thing that I really like about it as well.
I had to chuckle because, you know, we often hear, and she picks up on this, you know, when people on about 1 card pools, but they refer to it as a 1 card spread. It's just put here. So technically not a spread. It's a wonderful practice that can make every day a little easier and a bit more magical. But yeah, I often smile when people say about one card spreads.
Yeah, I know. I suppose there's not really anything to spread. But yeah, like, you see, something I find quite helpful with decks like this is one card spreads, and like more so than that, pull it in conjunction with a deck that you really know. I take a deck that you know really well, your Rider-Waite Smith or whatever. Pull a card from that, and then pull a card from, like, for example, this. Or sometimes I'll do it with decks like the the Portals of Presence or the Soul cards or something, and just see how they talk to each other, and you can just do it intuitively from what you're seeing in the picture, or you can read the book, but you will learn so much about the deck by doing that, as opposed to just like reading the book, or like, I find that a really useful exercise. So one card pulls, or rather like a one card pull aside, and a deck that you know well is it's really useful.
Yeah, cool. So next month we're doing Fairy Tale Tarot.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've got as well.
Baba Studios' Fairy Tale Tarot is next month, and that will be 5th of October. Is that right? Oh my gosh, how can it be October? Yeah, so because that's the first Thursday, I believe, of the month, the 5th of October.
How did you know that off the top of your head? Or had you checked?
I think I looked earlier today to think when the next one would be, and in my mind I was like, but I had to double check. I was like, was it the 5th? So I think it was the 5th, but
yeah.
Have you got it in front of you?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the 5th, and that's the week before Simon's birthday. Everyone, so need to wear party hats.
Yeah, so looking forward to looking at that deck with you. So that will be cool.
Yeah.
Anything you got coming up on your channel?
I'm going to try and do last week. I tried to schedule a painting live, and I was going to do a really nice painting. It looks like the full card, which is why I was doing it, because it kind of resembles a tarot. Obviously, I got old and my back gave way, so we couldn't. Honestly, you want to have seen the state of me. I'd sat in this chair to try and sort everything, and then I went to get up, and Simon Sandy had to help me through to the room. I couldn't get myself through. It was that bad. Anyway, I'm going to stop going on about my ailments.
Yeah, you're in your early 30s. It's not to do with age. It's to do with posture.
I'm going to be 35 in like a couple of months' time. So not unlike my waist size, I'm no longer in my early 30s, unfortunately.
Gosh, well, mid 30s then. Tell you, wait till you get to 50. I've just ended up ordering the standard edition for the shop after watching this. I was going to leave it. Well, I'm glad you've ordered some, Cheryl, because I think you'll get some orders for sure. So I'm glad you're stocking some in. That's fabulous. And it was a popular deck at the time, so I'm sure it will be again when it's re-released as a standard edition. I can remember its popularity back in 2020.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of decks coming actually from Oneness Emporium, so that's what's going to be happening on my channel. I'll be doing some unboxings and walkthroughs, which will be good. I'll be here on Saturday for Cuppa. But yeah, so thanks, Chris. Again, this was fun.
It was. Thank you very much.
We usually do, but I knew we would tonight because it's an interesting concept. But
yeah,
if you just stay on at the end, and I'll say goodbye to you properly. And thanks everyone for being here. Thank you for your interactions. and comments and questions and everything else. It's been great to see you all, and thank you to the trolls. No, not the troll.
Thank you
Thank you
for,
to the
saving
mod.
us, for saving our mortal souls. Thank goodness. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
87.
and join my big gay husband in bed after this. So you've really saved me.
Yeah, but no, thank you to the mods for dealing with the trolls, is what I meant to say.
Oh, Jay, I thought you were just being funny. I was joining in and everything.
No, tell you this I was saying to you earlier before I come on about how stressful this week's been. I'm looking to get through tonight in a relatively coherent way. My words are all over the place. But yeah, thanks everyone, and see you in the next one.
Thanks everyone. See you all later.
Bye.
Bye.